Sandra here, coming at you from the PG of A's, and today we will be continuing what I presume to be the end of Seduce Me. Now, strangely that made sense. It was very much like a business. If I had what they want, they could negotiate for it, or they could take it away anyway, but not without a fight. They were all really business-oriented. My curiosity about demons grew as I realized what deal I had made. So you'll stay for a couple of days.
A day is enough.
Yeah, sure, fine.
Yeah, sure, fine.
Yes.
Yes.
Diana looked at me up and down once again. I felt a little naked all of a sudden under her gaze, but I ignored it as she shrugged.
All right.
Diana kept her eyes on me, unsure what was going on from the look on her face.
So, what do you want to know? You're obviously curious about demons enough to make a deal with me.
My first thought shot to her, but then I remembered the boys. Not all of my questions were answered, and I wanted to know everything. First of all, who exactly are you? Diana chuckled before crossing her arms.
You may refer to me as simply Diana. As I said before, I'm a succubus, and I intend to bring the boys back home.
Back home? What do you mean? Back to the demon world?
Precisely. They don't belong here, and it's imperative that they return.
Why?
Did they not tell you? They're runaway royals.
I couldn't believe my ears. What? They were royals? Why would they run away from royal? Diana simply smirked at my news press face.
Ah, so they didn't tell you. How unfortunate. You were in the presence of a demon prince and his noble brothers, and you didn't even know.
I felt myself unconsciously walk over and sit on my bed. They hid something gigantic from me? Why? Did they not trust me? Then again, it had only been a couple of days, yet they helped me and were here for me regardless, acting like servants instead of noblemen. I gripped my head in frustration. What am I supposed to believe?
Believe whatever you wish. The confusion will fade away soon enough, regardless.
I looked at Diana, who only gave me an almost somber look in return. She was serious about removing my memories, but she would keep her end of the deal until I learned all I could. That, and I felt thrilled to have her. Maybe it was because she was a succubus, I didn't know. I sighed and faced Diana. So, how did you get into the human world? How did the boys get
With the
there?
help of a human, in both of our cases. There's truly no need for details beyond that. Any human can cast a demon summoning spell. It's just a matter of what happens during the summoning and after where things get tricky.
What do you mean?
Well, if a human is willing, only part of their life force is taken from them, and they are given one chance to open a bridge between our worlds to allow the demon they desire to come through. The more demons come through, the more life force the spell takes. Luckily for the poor human that brought them here, the boys sacrificed some of their own powers to open the bridge instead of letting the spell feed solely on the human. The human lived, and the boys came through.
That almost made sense. Something in my mind clicked, but I couldn't clear it out to figure out what it was. I only nodded to Diana. And you were the same?
Somewhat. However, I don't care to go into details about how I came here. You'll forget soon enough.
That's not part of the deal.
You wish to have me around for more information. I get to decide what information to give.
Cheater.
It's not cheating if it's not a broken rule.
I huffed and crossed my arms and legs. Diana was a game player and I didn't like her rules. However, they were the rules I had to accept in order to keep my memories a little while longer. I'd find a way to remember she wasn't going to win. Diana let out a small chuckle and ran a hand through her hair.
Well, I believe I should head to bed. If I'm to stay here, then I need some form of sleep.
I watched Diana cross through my room to the door and opened it. She turned to me with a smile.
Have a good night. See you in the morning.
Before I could respond, she exited my room and closed the door behind her. I stared. It was like she was in control. I almost gritted my teeth at the thought. She wasn't the master of the house. I was. I huffed and crawled back under the covers. How did my life get so complicated? What was going on with me? I must have had serious bad luck. I sighed and covered myself with my blankets, wanting tonight to end. I needed tomorrow to come. School would take my mind off of things. If school actually happened anyways. I woke that morning minutes before my alarm. I felt slightly groggy, but I didn't exactly feel bad. I was more of a physical exhaustion with my mind ready to take on the day. I stretched and quickly changed into my clothes before heading downstairs with my bag. As I reached the lobby, I stopped and sniffed the sudden new smell in the air. Breakfast? I continued my way to the dining room to see Diana laying out a plate covered with sliced fruit on the table. There were delicious smelling eggs, toast, bacon, ham, veggies, and juice. I felt my mouth, but then I remembered that it was Diana serving breakfast, and I shook my head. What are you doing?
Ah, you're up. Come. Breakfast. I didn't know what you liked, so I made everything I knew humans ate for this time of day.
I walked over and scanned the table before giggling. Diana raised an eyebrow.
And what is so funny?
You didn't make everything breakfast related. You forgot a couple
Like
things.
what?
Coffee, pancakes, waffles. Diana looked almost insulted before looking to the table, recounting the plates. I laughed harder, making her glare at me.
I haven't been in the human world long enough to know everything, all right? Unlike the boys, I know little to nothing about what you humans eat in your homes.
At the mention of the boys, I suddenly remembered them. They treated me like part of their family, caring for me and making sure I was okay beyond anything else. They were servants to me, and I let them go. I let out a sigh at the memory. Little did I know that Diana stared at me the entire time. I shook my head and looked to the table, getting an empty plate and filled it with what I wanted before sitting and eating. Diana remained standing watching me. I felt almost naked under her gaze, so I looked over, pausing my eating. Are you going to eat?
I already ate.
What did you eat?
You really wish to know?
I wanted to know more about demons. I wanted to know more about her. Of course I said yes. Diana stared in surprise at me before smirking a bit and reaching into her cleavage. I watched as she pulled out a small purple vial. She popped the cork and poured a mere couple sipules into her palm before recorking the vial and placing it back in her dress. Hannah closed her eyes, closed her hand. What was she doing? This was odd to watch, yet at the same time it was practically at the edge of my seeing curiosity. What was she going to do? Her hand started to open almost like a blossoming flower, revealed a small peach-sized fruit. It was purple and almost an enchanting smell to it that made my food seem almost disgusting.
A plant from the abyssal plains. We call it a sweet flower. Would you like to try it?
Yes. I nodded, staring at the fruit. It looked absolutely glorious and delicate. I couldn't resist grabbing onto the chance to try it. Diana nodded before cupping the fruit in both hands, pulling the purple flesh from the fruit, revealing a juicy, blackish center as if it was cut on the inside. Diana pulled out a perfect slice and handed it to me.
I must say, you may be the first human to try this fruit. You should consider yourself lucky.
I nodded, not pulling my eyes away from the fruit slice in my hand. It was juicy, and its clear juice painted over my fingers. I somehow didn't care. I wanted to try it and savor it. I lifted the small slice to my lips and took a small bite, feeling ecstasy run through my mouth. I almost couldn't fight back the moan that was erupting from my throat. It was sweet, yet it was slightly tart. It was the perfect combination, and at the same time it felt so unnatural. I felt not only pleasure in my mouth, but my body began to feel energized and warm. All of that was from a small bite. I swallowed the biteful and let out a pleasured sigh, making Diana smirk slightly at me with a raised eyebrow. I couldn't lie to her about how it tasted. That's delicious.
That it is. They're natively grown in my kingdom, so I have the pleasure of enjoying these every day.
You have a kingdom?
I do. The boys are not the only royals in the demon world, sweetie. I just so happen to be a princess.
I stared in surprise. She was really a princess? How? She looked so mature. She was more of a queen than a princess. Really? You're a princess? You seem more like a queen. For a split second, I swore I saw Diana blush, but as she started to laugh, I shook my head at the thought.
You flatter me, little girl. You best be careful. I may just take your flattery as an invitation to take your energy.
I shut my mouth, feeling a blush run across my own cheeks. I returned to eating the fruit, hearing her chuckle and eat the remainder of the fruit on her own. Surprisingly, I felt full just from that small slice. How could that be? The only explanation I had was that it was a demon fruit, or I mentally accepted it as just that. What I didn't expect was Diana leaning over and lifting my chin to look down at me.
Messy, aren't you?
I stared as Diana came closer and gently kissed my cheek by the corner of my lip, making me gasp slightly. What was she doing? Why was she kissing my cheek? I was red in the face already, and here she was taking advantage. Diana pulled away and slightly licked popped her lips. What?
You had a little juice on the side of your lip. It was bothering me.
I ran my fingers over where she kissed me and felt my red face grow even hotter. Diana chuckled slightly at the sight, making me almost glare at her. I didn't know if she was flirting with me or trying to embarrass me. Either way, she was winning. Eventually, my alarm started going off, reminding me to be ready for Naomi and Suzu. Right, school was the thing. I stood from my chair and grabbed my bag, walking out of the dining room.
And where are you going, might I ask?
I have to go to school.
Ah, I see.
I looked at Diana, feeling that she was up to something. She had her arm crossed, looking to me as if I owed her something. What?
Well, I don't exactly want you to leave this house with the memories you have. I'd be breaking the rules if I allowed that.
But we had a deal. You stay for a day. I kept my memories until you leave. I still have school to go to, though.
Then skip school and stay home.
What?
That, or I go with you.
What? Anna was crazy. To suggest going to my school was practically signing a death wish. Everyone would ask about her. What would I tell everyone? That's crazy.
I can't let you leave this house with those memories unless I'm with you. Rules are rules.
What
The
rules?
rules of the world, sweetie.
Rules of the world? What was she talking
The rules
about?
applies to any magical being that lives in the human world. They were established on a day you humans might know as the birth date of Jesus Christ.
Wait, so does that mean Christianity is legitimate?
It's a story to some, a religious faith to others. I won't deny or prove a religion exists because that's a human matter. Magical beings, on the other hand, don't pay attention unless they're angels from the world of heaven.
My curiosity was peeking at my mind like a frantic bird. I wanted to know more. Anna was giving me answers. I wanted to ask more questions. However, I had to go to school. I was conflicted.
Stay, and I'll tell you more of these rules.
And if I go?
Then I take your memories. Now.
I was trapped. There was no way I could bring Diana with me. Excuse me, frog in my throat. There's no way I could bring Diana with me. Some repercussion if she took my memories now. Then I'd go to school without remembering anything. However, if I stayed, I could learn more, but I'd miss school. Stay home. I bit my lip. Did I really want to stay? I could feel my fingers run over my phone, and I call up Naomi without even listening to the phone. I spoke into it. Hey girls, I'm feeling really sick. Don't worry about coming and don't come over. I'm staying home and getting better. I hung up without even acknowledging Naomi or Suzu on the other end. Anna crossed her arms and waited for me to turn to her fully. I threw my bag to the side and looked to Diana, ready to learn more. You're going to tell me everything.
I'll do the best I can.
I walked up the stairs with Diana behind me and glanced into the dining room to see it already clean. I guess Diana used magic to clean up after us. I continued and wound up walking into my bedroom. I sat on the bed as Diana stood by the balcony window. It was just like last night. So, can I ask anything and you'll answer, right?
I'll give you the best answers I can give.
Knowing Diana, I could have been at what like. She already had hidden some details, but I guess she had her reasons. However, I would need to know more than just details. The rules of the worlds, what are they?
They are the heart and soul of the human world, created and approved by all 5 worlds on the human date, December 25th.
5 worlds?
In human terms, there is the human world, heaven, purgatory, hell, and the abyss.
What are the rules in this agreement?
These rules dictate the behavior of otherworldly creatures in the human world. Without them, there would be constant war between angels and devils, while the vampires would try and enslave humanity. Demons are merely the watchers, but often the devils or vampires will try and coax them into joining them.
So angels and vampires exist
Yes,
too?
angels are from heaven, watching over the human world with a careful eye. Vampires are from the human world, but pass on to purgatory before rebirth.
I stared at my lap. This was all amazing, yet this wasn't satisfying my curiosity. I want to know more. Did I want to know just about demons? What was all a huge detail? This was all a huge deal, and I felt both over and underwhelmed. So, these rules have rules over humans. Humans can't know anything about magic at all.
Correct. Humans, to the angels, need to remain pure and innocent, so they dictated that humans cannot know of the other worlds or of other beings. The rest of us agreed. Only a select few are allowed to know the truth about us.
But that's hardly fair, isn't it?
Well, take a look at yourself. You're barely proficient with magic. Your kind is too focused on who will fight the next war or who will screw the next person. I'm sorry to admit this, but humans are the weakest race in the planes of existence. The only ones who truly protect you are angels.
I felt angry that she made humans sound inferior. Yeah, we had our faults, but it wasn't like any of the other races were better, right? There was no way humans were the inferior race. Well, we're not inferior.
Oh, you're not now. Really?
I stare at me, looking me up and down before smirking.
Let's go on a little trip, shall we?
I raised my eyebrow. What was she on about? First she wanted me to stay here, now she wants to go out. What was with this girl? Before I could protest, the world began to spin around me, forcing me to jump up and grab onto Diana. She held me as the room spun practically out of control. My fear escalated and I buried my face into her shoulder, wanting it to stop. If she was trying to prove a scary point, it was working. I felt the world slow down around me and soon came to a halt. I didn't want to look, but gently Diana pushed me away from her body for me to look around. I gasped and I realized that I was in a business office. What's going on? Where are we?
Just a simple business office. Nothing more.
I looked around and felt an air of familiar to the room. I couldn't figure out why, but my brain kept me aware that I knew this place somehow. I didn't get to think on it long. Suddenly, a group of businessmen entered the room, stopping at the sight of Diana and me.
Who are you two?
I froze. What was going to happen? Were we going to be thrown out, get in trouble, and I would never be allowed out again? This was a mild nightmare. Diana's giggles stopped my thoughts. I looked up to see her smirking at the group of men, a hand by her lips.
Why, do you not know who we are? For shame, for shame.
Diana glided me to a chair and sat me down before sitting on the table. I practically turned red as Diana hiked her dress to where her entire leg slipped out from the split. She crossed her legs and tossed her hair gently.
We are your employers. This lovely lady is the CEO of the company, and I am her personal secretary. You men, however, are late.
I stared at Diana as she stared down the group of men like a tigress would her prey. The group collectively began to shuffle in nervousness, surprising me. Were they really believing her lie? How? Anna smiled and lifted her leg slightly, making the men lean in for a possible panty shot. I couldn't help but feel both stunned and slightly jealous.
One of you needs to come over here and kiss my foot as an apology.
What? I looked at Diana's foot, seeing it gently bob and slight impatient. Was she seriously going to make one of them kiss her foot? They obviously couldn't be that enthralled with her enough to stoop so low. I let my thoughts become restored as I watched the man step out from the group nervously and got on his knees in front of Diana as he gently cradled her foot in his hands. I tensed and held my breath. No way. The man gently kissed over Diana's foot, making almost a slurry sigh escape her lips and sent a shiver down my spine. Diana smirked and leaned back on her hands, looking down at the man before her.
My ankle next.
Like an obedient servant, the man traveled his kiss to her ankle as Diana let her head fall back with another sigh. Diana, what are you doing?
Proving to you how weak the human mind is.
Diana raised a hand above her and snapped her fingers, causing the group of all the men that remained to straighten up like an army at attention. I felt myself tense and catch my breath in response. I couldn't feel any power over me.
Water, a massage, another kiss.
With each command, a man would separate from the group and fulfill it obediently. I watched as each man became practically a slave to her whim. Diana crossed her eyes and let out a pleasurable hum, making my spine tingle again. For some reason, this irritated me beyond belief. Watching her be pampered by her thrilled men made something crawl in my chest, something dark. I wanted it to stop. Diana and the men around her suddenly looked at me. Diana was a little surprised, then slightly smirked.
Oh my, is someone a little jealous?
It's not like that, just stop it, you've proved your point. Diana chuckled, making me wince. Would she stop? She wasn't obedient like the boys, though who knew with her. Diana then snapped her fingers, surprising me and forcing the men around her to huddle together where they were previously.
I have proven my point, haven't I? Oh well, I guess I got a little carried away.
Diana ran a finger over her lower lip and giggled at my face, though. What?
You're adorable when you're jealous.
My face turned red instantly and I covered my cheeks, glaring at Diana. She giggled again before snapping her fingers, making the room around us fade away into darkness. A mere breath later, we were back in my bedroom with both of us on my bed. Diana stretched her arms up and smiled at me.
So, now do you understand the vulnerability of humanity?
I gritted my teeth. Humans weren't as weak as she claimed. I couldn't believe it. Just because we were weak didn't mean that we couldn't know about those who were supposedly more powerful than us. I glared at Diana. That justifies ignorance. How does that justify ignorance?
Ignorance is the only safety humans get to have. If humans were to know about us, do you know what kind of chaos would occur?
Once I felt scared. Diana's eyes were cold as ice as she stared into my soul, practically giving me the frightening feeling of the future I questioned.
There are already wars in the human world being fought amongst ourselves. Equality, dominance, power. The human world is practically the image of self-chaos. Innocent blood is spilled every day in your world. Doesn't matter the color or creed you carry. You think blood is spilt now? There will be much more if humans knew about otherworldly creatures. Our existences can destroy beliefs and human logic.
I felt the world around me go dark as I stared at Diana. Sounds of screaming and battle raged around me, but I kept my eyes to the one person I could see. Was this an illusion? Was this a trick? I didn't feel like it.
Religions would crumble and civil wars would clash. Paranoia would be a constant in every human mind. and soon armies will rise up, trying to defend humanity without true knowledge of who we are and what we can do. Vampires would be forced to retaliate and build armies of their own, and trust me, they're not as friendly as the vampires in your human fictional drabble. Devils would have a heyday and wreak havoc, finally finding a collective weakness in the human world to exploit. Angels would have to come down and fight their devil rivals, and the human world would become their battlefield.
I could see the world Diana described flash before my eyes. I could see humans screaming, fighting each other, trying to figure out who is what, and being frightful with every blink. I imagined devils like Malik raging cities and killing people, with soldiers trying to fight back, falling and dying at every turn. The image was scary and I didn't want to imagine it. I shook my head, holding it in both hands before looking to Diana. My room had returned and Diana stared back at me. To my surprise, she had a concerned
The
face.
rules are to make sure that we all stay at peace. To have us all fighting at once would result in a massive cataclysm that would engulf everything and everyone, no matter what you were.
Anna finally broke away from the gaze. She held on me and stared at the far wall. I could see a look of fear rush through her eyes as she looked away from me. I almost felt sorry, but my confusion covered my concern.
Demons already have enough on our collective plates. We don't need to become the backlash victims of broken ignorance.
Diana. Something in Diana's eyes made my heart almost hurt. Even though she wasn't looking at me, I could almost see all of the emotion that reigned in her mind. Just by observing her eyes, I felt bad, terrible even, for questioning her as I did. I was only human after all. However, I felt the need to comfort her. Something was going on and Diana was holding it back. Whether or not I learned more by comforting her almost didn't matter. I held myself gently, scoot closer to Diana before laying a hand on hers. Diana stared at me for a brief moment before shaking her head frantically and shutting her eyes tightly. A soft sigh escaped her lips before she looked again at me with almost a new resolve.
I'm fine. I was merely trying to prove my points.
The day then became filled with Diana teaching me more about magic. Even when the day ended, I needed to learn more. I began to crave it. I begged Diana to stay despite knowing our dear Diana, despite promised to only stay a day, agreed to stay longer to tell me more. Soon days passed by, filled with lessons and examples of magic. Knowing that I would be missed at school, Diana quickly took care of making sure I wasn't missed. Using a simple spell, as she called it, she created an illusion of me to go in my place, was real to humans and acted just like me, but was like a ghost to demons. I kinda wished I would remember that spell. She told me of vampires, creatures that looked just like humans who had an inner heresy. There were 4 types of vampires, but all of them were under oath by the rule of worlds not to hunt humans. It was strange and it felt like a fictional novel, but Diana promised that vampires were not like the books. They had adapted to living with humans, creating a formula that allowed them to walk around during the day. They even had a blood bank as currency and made synthetic blood to quench their thirsts. They had real blood to drink, of course, but they got it either through hospital blood drives or black market means. It was surreal. Devils were as chaotic as Malik's was, but they were still all under the command of the very powerful fallen angels and devil king, Satan. He, however, still had the heart of an angel. He was simply sitting in hell and waiting for an opening into the human world. I hoped it would never come. Angels, on the other hand, were not as I expected. When I thought of angels, I imagined beautiful human-looking creatures with wings and
I
halos.
still wonder who spread that rumor.
Diana explained that they actually looked monstrous. Each archetype of angel looked different, but Diana couldn't describe them all. The one that stood out the most to me was I don't know how to say that. She described it as a mysterious creature that hid behind 3 large pairs of wings. What if the whatever did look human?
Well, anyone who has met a seraphim and tried to find out has not lived to spill the secret.
I gulped. It was scary to hear that for some reason. Angels were strict and were not as forgiving as many claimed. According to Diana, they had a love-hate relationship with humans, but they didn't try to dominate us. They only became mediators for the rule of the worlds. Why not?
I'd rather not get into that.
Why?
It's not my place to talk about heaven. Only the angels.
She also mentioned their methods for memory removal as the self-proclaimed guardians of the humans. They had the rights to baptize humans who held memories of otherworldly creatures should they find any in the human world. This baptize not only erases the memories of magic, but erases their entire memory clean. Humans would remember who they were or who they knew, a blank canvas. Humans, however, unlike the others, were passive creatures that only truly cared for their own worlds. They had their own lands, kingdoms, and lords living there. The most powerful demon in the abyssal plains was the demon lord. He was the incubus boy's father, and he was a ruthless man. He had conquered several kingdoms with a massive, indestructible army. Many demons died under his brutality, but when he did conquer, life for demons was like the human resistance. Or renaissance, whatever. Many feared what land he would attack next. However, to everyone's surprise, the demon lord had tried to be peaceful with Diana's kingdom as she was offered as a bribe to one of his sons. Why would you accept
I
that?
had no choice. I was barely a child when the decision was made, and when I learned of it, I had accepted it.
Why though? How would you know if you would be in love with the guy you were marrying?
It didn't matter. My kingdom would be safe, and I would be able to live with knowing I was able to protect my kingdom.
I stared at Diana, and as she smiled at me with sad eyes. She really didn't want to marry them. It was practically painted all over her face. Diana's face shifted to one of surprise as she looked at me. I was being honest, though. She shouldn't have to marry someone to protect the kingdom. It would be safe, yes, but you would be unhappy. Can you live with yourself knowing
I'd
that?
rather be unhappy than see my kingdom burn to the ground. Besides, as the bride of the next demon lord, I'd have the ability to change things. I could disband his armies, bring peace to the abyssal plains.
Well, what about love?
Love.
Diana looked at her lap and sighed.
Love can't exist for me. I'm the most powerful succubus in the demon world. Anyone who would go after me would only be entranced by my power.
Diana chuckled, making me blush a bit. I was being honest, and here she was laughing at my words.
You're a human, dear. You can't know when I'm using my powers or not. I could be using them now, making you interested in me to trust me.
But you're not, are you? Diana then silenced herself. She stared at me, knowing that her silence would give me my answer. I smirked at her. You like me.
What?
You like me. You definitely like me.
I do not. I'm merely fulfilling my end of the deal.
I felt like a tease. She was being nice to me, and I wasn't using her powers over me because she liked me. It was too obvious. You like me. What I didn't expect was her taking my hand and forcing me closer to her, a mere inch separate our lips, but Diana stared into my soul, made my mind go blank. I barely remember what I was saying. Diana remained holding me. I didn't fight. She stared into my soul, and I allowed it. I was concerned. At the same time, I was intrigued. Diana was indeed a beautiful woman. Seeing her up close made my face turn slightly red in embarrassment. Any moment she could lean in and kiss me, maybe even take my energy. However, she did.
You are interesting for a human.
Then she released me and stared at me, watching as I stared back at her with a red face. Did I like her? I shook my head. No way, that was impossible. You were just in a business deal, nothing more.
Is there anything else you wanted to know?
I stared at her as I thought, was there anything else I wanted to know? My memories were forfeit in the end, so everything was up for grabs. Yeah, I could think of a single question to ask. Was that all I wished to know? No, there was nothing else I needed to know. I felt satisfied. No, that should be all.
I understand.
Hannah stood and adjusted the bottom of her dress before smiling at me. I barely noticed how much time had passed between us. I felt like forever, but I enjoyed learning more. I felt bad that I had to lose my memories. However, that was the deal, and according to Diana, demons never go back on their word.
Well, if you don't mind, there's one place I need to visit, and I'd rather visit it now than after I take your memories. I'll be gone from the area for quite a while, anyway.
Where do you need to go?
A cemetery. There's something I need to do there. It's boring, sadly, but I need to do it. You need to come with so I can watch you.
Why did she need to go to the cemetery? Did she have a human friend she needed to say goodbye to? Did she have to meet with another demon? Sure, let me...
No need to get dressed up. It's just a brief visit.
Oh, damn, I've been recording for half an hour! Ah! Well, I'm sorry. Once again, I thought this was gonna be the end, but apparently no. So, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want. I make new videos whenever I can. Hopefully not this long again. And I will see you in the next video I make. Later, skaters!